Hi guys, ako nga pala si Ramin Magboo from IT2102 and today I will discuss a quick summary about the CNA 1 Chapter 9 entitled Transport Layer. Now, let's get started. Transport Layer. The role of the transport layer is responsible for establishing a temporary communication session between two applications and delivering data between them, and link between the application layer and the lower layers that are responsible for network transmissions. The transport layer responsibilities. The first one is the tracking the conversation. The second one is segmentation. And the last is the identifying the application. Tracking the conversation is the tracks each individual conversation flowing between a source and a destination application, while the segmentation divides the data into segments that are easier to manage and transport. Header used for resemble is used for tracking. And last, identifying the application ensures that even with multiple applications running on a device, all applications are received the correct data via ports number. A transport layer tracks each individual conversation flowing between the source application and and destination application separately. Conversation multiplexing. It is segmenting the data into smaller chunks to enable many different communications to be multiplexed on the same network. The transport layer reliability. Reliability, the TCP or the IP provides two transport layer protocols. The first one is the first one is the transmission control protocol or the TCP, and then consider the reliable, which ensures that all the data arrives at destination and does not provide for reliability, fewer fields, and it's faster than TCP or the user data protocol. What is the TCP? TCP is a transport is similar to sending tracks package. If a shipping order is broken up into several packages, a customer can check online to see the order of the delivery. TCP have three responsibilities. The first one is the numbering and tracking data segments. The second one is the acknowledgement received data. And last is transmitting any acknowledged data after a certain period of time. Using a UDP for less overhead and to reduce possible delays. This is the three. The first one is the best effort delivery or the unreliable, no acknowledgement, similar to an unregistered letter. What is the difference between the TCP and UDP? TCP is the database, web, browsers, and email clients require that all data that is sent arrives at the destination in its original condition, while the UDP is one of the two segments of a live video stream fail to arrive if disruption in the stream may not be noticeable to the user. UDP requires fast, low overhead and does not require acknowledgement, while TCP is reliable acknowledgement data, present lost data, and delivers data in the sequence order. TCP features have three or the four. The first one is establishing a session, second one is the reliable delivery, third is the same order, and last the flow control. TCP header is a sequence number used for data resemble. It is having a four. The first one is the header length, second one is the control bits, window size, and checksum. The source and destination part is to identify the application. This is the UDP features. The first one is the data is reconstructed in the order that it's received, and then any segments lost are not resent, and no session establishment does not inform the sender about the resource availability. This is the UDP header. UDP is the statelet stateless protocol or no tracking, reliability handled by applications. Multiple separate communications. User expect to stimulately receive and send email, views website, and make a VoIP phone call. TCP and UDP manage multiple conversation by using unique identifiers called port numbers. The port numbers have two ports. The first one is the source ports and the destination ports. The source ports is originating application port that is dynamically generated by sending devices. For the example, each separate HTTP conversation is tracked based on the source port. And then, the destination port, this tell the destination what service is being requested. For example, is the port 80 web service are being requested. Socket pairs. These segments encapsulating in IP packets. Source ports acts as return address, and the source and the destination port placed in segments. Sockets is enable multiple processes to be distinguished. The port numbers group, the well known the reserved for reserved services and application. And the port numbers are assigned by the requesting entity to use with specific process applications, usually assigned dynamically by the client's OS and used to identify the client's application during the communication. Well known the port of numbers. The netstat command. It is the network utility that can be used to verify connection, and then will attempt to resolve the IP address to domain names and port numbers to well-known application. TCP and UDP. TCP connection establishment is having step 3. The first one step is initiating client request a session with server. Step 2 is the server acknowledgement and to request a session with, and then last client acknowledge communication with server. TCP session termination is to close a connection to finish, or the FIN control flag must be set in the segment header. TCP have a three-way handshake analysis. The first one is to establish that the network destination device is present on the network, and then informs the destination device that the source client intends to establish a communication session on the port number, and then RST flag is used to reset a connection when an error or time has occurred. TCP reliability or the order delivery. It is a represent the first data byte of the TCP segments. If the missing segments can be identified. As data is transmitted during the session, the sequence number is incremented by the number of the bytes that have been transmitted. TCP flowchart is a window size agreed on during three-way handshake, and then in this figure, window size determines the number of bytes that can be expecting an acknowledgement. The acknowledgement number is the number of the next expected bytes. So, in this figure, the source is transmitting 1460 bytes of data within each segment. Uh, Congestion avoidance is the TCP flow control that to avoid and control congestion. TCP employs several congestion handling mechanisms, timers, and algorithms. UDP low overhead versus reliability. UDP not connection oriented, and then function not provided by the transport layer implemented elsewhere. UDP provides low overhead data because it has a small datagram header and no network management traffic. This is the UDP datagram assembly that data in order received and forward to application, and the application must identify the proper sequence. UDP servers, processors, and requests that the client requests to server have well-known port numbers as the destination number or the destination port. This is the TCP frees application from having the manageability. The three types that suit for UDP. The first one is the live video and multimedia. Second one is the simple request and reply, handle reliability themselves. Done.